Hey guys, I'm recording a video to give a review of the Voltbike Yukon. Um, so for those of you who don't know, the Voltbike Yukon 750 is a electric bike with the fat tires. It's kind of like a fat electric bike. So I'm finally about 700 kilometers in on the bike, and I think that having a review of the bike is now going to be finally meaningful to some people out there who are thinking about getting an electric bike. So here we go. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about what I like about the bike, what I think can be improved, and my overall thoughts. So really, like overall, the bike is quite fun and it's been reliable for me, which is important. I've driven it throughout the winters of Calgary, which are quite can be quite cold, and can you can get temperatures as low as negative 20 degrees. The bike hasn't had any issues with that whatsoever. It loves to go on snow. It loves to go on mud or grass, and is equally happy going over pavement. So I use it a lot on the paved pathway, which is close to my house. Um, so it's been pretty convenient for me to have it, as I can sometimes take it to work. Um, things that I like about it. One I would say is that it has comes with 9 speeds, so it's really convenient to have a bike with 9 speeds. You can control the level of pedal assist, so you can go from 1 all the way to 9, and when you have it on maximum pedal assist, you can get up to 36 kilometers an hour, which is pretty quick, I find. And I really like that it gives you that sense of control with all the different speeds that you can set it to. Another feature that I like about it is that you also have throttle, where you could press the throttle and get immediate throttle response, um, in addition to pedal assist. Normally, I ride the bike 90% of the time in pedal assist, but every now and then I find myself using the throttle. Sometimes when I'm going over snow or icy areas, and I want to have a little bit more fine control, I really like having the throttle there. Um, and overall, like the speed has been pretty good in the sense that I've never had any issues with hills. I haven't broken a sweat going up a hill with the pedal assist feature. It's quite effortless. It detects your cadence quite quickly. Um, and then I think another feature of the bike that I like is the styling. It's got a lot of swagger to it. So it really has a presence. Like when I drive the bike, it always attracts curiosity and I guess, for lack of a better word, admiration. Maybe that's not the right word, but I mean, that's not the reason why I bought it. But it looks like it has a lot of personality. It has a lot of swagger, which I always like. It's a good feature. Um, and then the battery. Overall, the batteries. This is my first electric bike that I've owned. The battery is pretty good. I get about 25 kilometers of range, and I can get a bit more. If you go slower, if you don't use as much high intensity speeds. So it all depends on how much you use the bike. And then so now that I'm 700 kilometers in, I do also want to talk about things that I don't like about the bike and things that can be improved. So the first thing is the brakes. The brakes are very weak. They, they're not to the point where they're unsafe, but certainly they don't inspire confidence. In the next iteration of the bike, I'd really like to see the brakes being improved. Um, they just don't seem to have much bite in them. The second thing I don't like about the bike is the lights that come with it. So I have the Yukon Limited, which came with the light. For those people that love to ride at night, the light is not really going to illuminate so much of the pathway in front of you. Um, you're going to find that it's almost like it really just shows the maybe like a person, oncoming person who's also riding a bike, that you're there, but it doesn't really help with illumination. So I think the light needs to be improved. It's just too weak. I don't do a whole lot of night riding, so it's not really that big of an issue for me. Um, the third issue was the mud guards. So I totally recommend the mud guards in the rear rack, which are great. However, the front mud guards are really annoying because they every now and then they chafe the front tires, and I haven't been able to totally fix that issue. So um, I find that's a little bit of an annoying issue that I deal with. I recently had to let a little bit of air out of the tires to make sure that the fender doesn't chafe. Not the fender, the mud guard doesn't chafe against the tire because it gets annoying. Um, and then what number am I on? I don't know, third or fourth. The fourth thing that I don't like about the bike was the seat. The stock seat that came with the bike was very uncomfortable. I think it can be improved. It really is, like gives you an ache in the bum. Nobody wants that when you're riding a bike. It's terrible. So what I did was I looked around and I was doing some research on what type of lock to get my bike. And it just happened to be that I bought a lock which functions as a seat and then turns into a lock. It's really neat because it comes off really easily, like in a matter of couple of seconds. It's called CT lock, SEATY lock. I really recommend it. I paid about $120 for it, and it locks the bike up, and it also removes the seat. So if anybody wants to steal your bike, they first what they see is a bike with no seat, and the lock itself is good, so it just gives an extra level of protection for the bike. And that seat that comes with that functions as a lock is super comfortable. It's really nice. It's way better than the stock seat that came with the Voltbike. And the last issue that I think can be improved upon with the Voltbike is the customer service. It's not really this is not really so much the product per se, but customer service is part of it. Um, the owner of Voltbike, George, is very helpful, and I remembered I had a bunch of queries, minor troubleshooting issues that I had with the bike, and he was quite helpful in that regard. However, when I ordered my bike, it took 6 weeks past the expected delivery date to get it, which is just completely unreasonable. I was told that the bike is like stuck at the border between Vancouver and US because the shipment that it was coming in was being checked by the border security. And, anyway, long story short, it was 6 weeks past the expected delivery date. And that was 6 weeks of summertime, which would have been prime riding time, which I completely missed out on. So I'm hoping that Voltbike has corrected that issue. I know that's not really yay or nay against the product itself, but I think when you're buying an electric bike, you're also buying the customer service experience. Overall, when it comes to troubleshooting issues with the bike, I actually found George, the owner of Voltbike, was quite accessible and helpful. But I was not impressed by the bike being delivered 6 weeks after the delivery date. So overall, I think if you're looking for an electric fat bike, if you're looking into this kind of thing, I would recommend the Volt bike. I thought for the price that I paid for it, it was worth it, especially compared to its competition. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the bike. Most times when I ride it, it puts a smile on my face, makes you feel adventurous. It really inspires. It really inspires confidence in the sense that you could pretty much take it over any terrain, and it's comfortable over pavement too. So it's very practical. And then there are a few issues which I think can be improved for the next version. But does that does that mean that I would not buy it again? No. I mean, I think overall I'm happy with the purchase. I would recommend the product. And now that I have 700 kilometers on the bike, I can say that it's been a reliable product. So I hope that this video is useful to people who are considering the Volt bike, the fat electric bike, and also maybe people who are thinking about, what to look for in a product, what to look for in a electric fat bike. So some of the things that I talked about in the video might be helpful to you for things to think about before you purchase a electric fat bike. Thank you for tuning in. This is actually my first ever YouTube video. I've never done this, but it was kind of a spontaneous decision. I just wanted to see what this is all about. So yeah, I hope that even at least one person finds this helpful. Thank you.